Detective Carter stood motionless in the rain-soaked alley, the cold droplets soaking through her trench coat, making it cling to her like a second skin. The city's darkest district was alive with shadows that seemed to whisper secrets no one dared to hear aloud. The midnight hour had long passed, but the streets remained eerily silent, save for the distant hum of neon signs flickering in the wet night. 2 days ago, a middle-aged man named Harold had vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a trail of unanswered questions and growing dread. Harold was an unremarkable man by most accounts, a quiet librarian with a penchant for old books and a routine life. But his disappearance was anything but ordinary. The police had found no signs of struggle, no ransom notes, no clues, just a lingering sense of something darker lurking beneath the surface. Then came the tip. Harold had been drawn into a sinister cult, a secretive coven of women worshipping forces darker than any nightmare. The kind of evil that thrived in the city's forgotten corners. Carter's mind raced as she navigated the labyrinth of narrow streets and crumbling brick walls. She replayed the cryptic symbols scrawled across the alley walls, strange sigils painted in what looked like dried blood. The faint scent of burning sage still lingered in the damp air, mingling with the metallic tang of rain and decay. And the eerie chant, barely audible but unmistakable, echoed through cracked windows of abandoned buildings. It was a sound that clawed at the edges of sanity. The cult's hideout was rumored to be beneath an abandoned church at the edge of town, a relic from a forgotten era, its steeple shattered and its stained glass windows shattered or boarded up. The church had been a sanctuary once, but now it was a tomb for secrets better left buried. Time was slipping away, and Carter knew that if she didn't act soon, Harold might be lost forever. She paused at the church's rusted gates, her breath visible in the cold night air. The silence pressed down on her like a weight, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. She pulled her flashlight from her coat pocket, its beam cutting through the darkness as she slipped inside. The air was thick with dust and the faint, acrid smell of smoke. The wooden floorboards creaked beneath her boots as she made her way to the basement stairs, each step echoing like a heartbeat in the stillness. Inside the church's blackened basement, Carter's flashlight flickered erratically, casting long, trembling shadows against the cracked stone walls. The air was thick with incense smoke and the metallic scent of fear. Ahead, a circle of hooded figures chanted in low, guttural tones, their voices weaving together like a dark spell. In the center, Harold sat slumped against the cold floor, his face pale and drenched in sweat, eyes wide with terror. Carter's heart pounded as she stepped forward, each movement deliberate but swift. The cult leader, a tall woman draped in crimson robes, turned sharply, her eyes blazing with cold fury. Without hesitation, she raised a twisted dagger, signaling the others. The chanting stopped abruptly, replaced by a sudden, chilling silence that pressed down like a physical weight. Then chaos erupted. The cult members surged toward Carter with unnatural speed, their hoods falling back to reveal faces etched with fanaticism and madness. One lunged at her with a gleaming blade, but Carter twisted just in time, the edge scraping her coat as she countered with a powerful shove that sent him crashing into the stone wall. Another swung a heavy chain, the links clattering dangerously close, but she ducked low, her flashlight swinging like a baton, striking a cultist's temple with a sharp crack. Shouts and curses filled the air as Carter fought through the swarm. Her breath came fast, muscles burning, but her resolve never wavered. She reached Harold, grabbing his arm and pulling him to his feet. His legs trembled, but he clung to her strength. The cult leader advanced, dagger poised for a final strike. Carter met her gaze, eyes locked in a deadly standoff. With a sudden, desperate move, the leader lunged forward, but Carter sidestepped, grabbing a fallen candle holder and swinging it with all her might. The metal connected with a sickening thud, and the leader staggered, collapsing into the circle. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. Backup was near. The remaining cultists hesitated, then fled into the shadows, their chants replaced by frantic footsteps. Carter tightened her grip on Harold's hand, guiding him toward the stairs. As they emerged into the cold night, Carter glanced back once. The church's dark silhouette stood silent and foreboding, but the immediate threat had passed. Harold's trembling began to ease, replaced by a flicker of hope. Tonight, the darkness had been challenged, and for now, the light held. Back at the precinct, Carter sat across from Harold, who recounted his ordeal in shaky whispers. He spoke of promises made by the cult, of power, of belonging, of salvation from his mundane existence. How he had been drawn in by their hypnotic chants and the seductive allure of forbidden knowledge. But as the days passed, the true horror revealed itself. The rituals, the sacrifices, the loss of self. He had barely escaped with his life. Carter listened intently, her mind cataloging every detail. She knew this was just the beginning. The cult was bigger than one man's disappearance. It was a cancer spreading through the city's underbelly, feeding on fear and desperation. And it was her job to stop it. That night, as she prepared her report and reviewed the evidence, Carter felt the weight of the city pressing down on her. The rain had stopped, but the storm inside her mind raged on. She was a lone sentinel standing against the darkness, knowing that every victory came with a cost. But she was ready. Because in a city where shadows whispered secrets, she was the one who dared to listen and fight back